Sometimes otherworldly beings find strange ways to try and contact you. They might use an Ouija board, visit you in a dream, or even speak through another person. I've heard each being has its own unique style. As for me, the one who contacted me spoke through my computer, or more accurately, through on-screen text. The first time it happened, I was sitting at my desk playing solitaire. The blinking red light on the router told me my internet was down again. It was nothing new. Spotty service was something I'd grudgingly learned to live with. I kept moving cards around when suddenly the game faded to a solid black screen and red text appeared. "Hi Jack, I need a favor from you. You're a very special person and I know you'll help me. I can't ask this of just anyone. I really need your help." I froze, staring at the screen. The router light was still blinking red, so there was no internet connection. Is this some kind of joke? I thought, though I had no idea who could have pulled it off. After a few moments, more text appeared. "Yes, Jack, I know this is weird for you, but I don't want you to worry. This is just a small, easy favor I need. I'll make sure you're rewarded." My heart started pounding. This didn't feel like a prank anymore. I reached around and yanked the internet cable out of the wall. "Still here, Jack," the text said. "I don't want to waste any more of your time, so I'll get right to what I need. Tomorrow, when you go to work, I need you to move the large potted plant that's next to the elevator on the ground floor. All you have to do is pull it out 3 inches from the wall. If you do it at 8:17 a.m., nobody else will be in the area." I stared at the screen, too stunned to type anything back. What was this? The writing continued. "Look, Jack, I'm asking you because I know you'll do it. You won't let me down. You're special. We'll talk tomorrow." I yanked the computer's power cord out of the wall, and the screen went dark. My breathing was shallow, and my hands were shaking. Did that really just happen? I asked myself. To calm down, I took a warm shower and got ready for bed, convincing myself it had to be some crazy dream or a very elaborate joke. But who would play that kind of joke on me? I didn't really have friends, or enemies for that matter. The next morning, I woke up feeling refreshed, the events of the previous night seeming distant and blurry, like a bad dream. My workday started at 8:30 a.m., and I was never late. I pulled into the parking lot at 8:10 a.m., my usual time. Normally, I'd head straight inside, but that message lingered in my mind. It told me to move the plant at exactly 8:17 a.m. Was I really going to do it? Overnight, my fear had turned into curiosity. Moving the plant wouldn't be illegal, and it wasn't like I'd be hurting anyone. It would take 2 seconds. If I did it, nothing would happen, and I'd be able to put the whole weird ordeal behind me. That felt like the most reasonable choice. At 8:16 a.m., I got out of my car and walked toward the building. I entered the foyer at exactly 8:17 a.m., just as the message had instructed. The strange thing was, it was completely empty. No one else was around. "That's odd," I muttered to myself. Normally, this place would be busy with people coming and going at this hour. "Fine, let's see what happens," I said under my breath. The large potted plant stood between the 2 elevators in the lobby. It looked fake, a decoration most people passed every day without giving it a second thought. When I grabbed it to move it, I realized it was heavier than it looked. I had to put some effort into pulling it out 3 inches from the wall, as close to exact as I could manage. I stepped back, looking at the plant and then around the lobby. By now, people had started coming in behind me and the lobby was filling up again. Nobody seemed to notice the plant had been moved, and nothing seemed different. I stood there for another minute, waiting. For what, I wasn't sure. But nothing happened. Eventually, I gave up, entered the elevator, and headed up to my cubicle on the 7th floor. If you asked my coworkers to describe me, you'd probably hear words like polite, quiet, respectful, and competent. All of those words are true, but they don't tell the whole story. The truth is, I don't really like most people. It's not that I dislike them, I just don't care enough to get to know them, or let them get to know me. There's one exception, though, Allie. She sits 2 cubicles down from me, and she's the only person in the office I actually want to know more about. With her bright smile, blonde hair, and beautiful figure, well, let's just say she stands out. I was surprised to find that she seemed to like me too. Every morning I'd stop by her cubicle for a quick chat. At first, they were only a minute long, but over time they stretched to 2 minutes, then several. She always seemed genuinely happy to talk to me, which gave me a strange sense of hope I hadn't felt in years. That morning started like any other. I stopped by Allie's cubicle for our usual chat. She told me about her wild night out, laughing as she shared the highlights. It was short, only a couple of minutes, but it was enough to brighten my morning. As we talked, the elevator doors opened behind us, and out hobbled James Bentley, our boss. His loud voice carried across the office. "My damn foot," he complained, his face twisted in pain. "What happened, James?" someone nearby asked, their voice barely audible compared to his. "It's that damn plant they have in the lobby," he grumbled. "I ran right into it and twisted my ankle." Allie's concern was immediate. "James, you can barely walk. You need to go to the hospital." "Can't do it now, I have meetings all day. Too important to cancel. I'll just have to tough it out," he replied, limping off toward his office. I felt a wave of panic wash over me. It was my fault, I was sure of it. I'd moved that plant. How could I have been so stupid and careless? I tried to shake it off. Twisted ankles heal, right? Everything would be fine, but it didn't feel fine. When I got home that evening, I went straight to my computer, hesitant but curious. As soon as I turned it on, the screen went black, and the text appeared. "How was your day, Jack?" I froze. I didn't know how to respond, so I just sat there, staring at the screen. The text continued, "Actually, I know how your day was, but never let it be said that I'm not polite. You're wondering what's going on. You want to know why James Bentley had to twist his ankle. Well, Jack, this chain of events isn't done playing out. I don't want to tell you too much too soon, but this will all make sense to you in short order. Just go to work tomorrow like you normally do. Don't worry about a thing, Jack. You'll be rewarded. You're special. Talk to you tomorrow." I leaned back in my chair, overwhelmed and confused. My fear had morphed into curiosity again, maybe even a little excitement. What was happening? Who was this? And why me? The next morning started off as any other. When I walked into the lobby, I noticed the plant had been pushed back flush against the wall. The cleaning crew must have moved it during the night. I shrugged it off and went about my day. James showed up after lunch, hobbling into the office on his one good foot. "Man, this foot is killing me," I overheard him say. He still didn't seem interested in seeing a doctor. Around 3 p.m., I noticed James limping toward Allie's cubicle. "Allie, you're not doing anything right now, are you?" he asked. No. Nothing that can't wait until tomorrow, I guess," she replied. "Good. Could you drive me to my doctor? I probably should have gone yesterday, but I just couldn't get away. This pain is killing me, and I don't think I can drive myself. I barely made it here this morning. We can take my car if you want." "Yeah, that's fine, James. I don't have a problem taking you," she said, grabbing her coat. As she turned to me, she smiled and said, "See you tomorrow, Jackie." She followed James out, giving me a little shrug and a smile over her shoulder. And just like that, she was gone. The office felt emptier without her. 10 minutes later, it happened. The blaring horn of an 18-wheeler, the screech of brakes, and then a sickening crash. Even from the 7th floor, it was loud. The office fell silent before the workers scrambled to the windows. "Is that James's car?" someone asked. "It's hard to tell from up here," another replied. "It's so banged up." But I knew. I didn't need to see the details. My stomach sank as the horrifying realization hit me. No, I thought, my hands trembling. This can't be true. Shaking, I ran to the elevator along with several others and headed to the ground floor. We spilled out into the lobby and joined the growing crowd outside where the accident. I stared at the screen, my hands trembling, my chest tight with rage and grief. My body screamed at me to smash the monitor, to rip it from the desk and fling it across the room. But I didn't. Instead, I sat frozen as the text continued to appear. "Jack, I'm going to tell you something, and I need you to seriously consider everything I'm about to say. You thought you were in love with Allie. The truth is, you just wanted to fuck her. And please excuse my language, but every once in a while, it's best to be blunt." My jaw clenched. The audacity of this thing, this seer, to talk about her like that made my blood boil. "Jack, she wasn't the one for you. She would have made your life miserable. Yes, you would have eventually found the courage to ask her out. She was actually interested in you. She thought you'd make a good project. Sad, really. For her, not for you. Think back to what she told you. Why did her last boyfriend break up with her? I whispered under my breath. Because she cheated on him. That's right, Jack. Because she cheated on him. The same thing she would have done to you. She would have made you happy for about 2 months and then miserable for the next 4 years. Sneaking around, laughing at you behind your back, spending your money. Once you finally got rid of her, you'd have been so jaded you'd never date again. The words hit me like a sledgehammer. This is true, Jack. I see all future possibilities, the ones that come to pass and the ones that don't. You've seen how she really is, but you let your lust for her blind you to the truth. Together, you and I have ensured you avoided that path. One more thing, Jack. This isn't done playing out yet. There's more to come. No! I screamed, jumping from my chair. My voice cracked with fury. Fuck you! You killed her! I grabbed the monitor and hurled it across the room. It hit the floor with a loud crash, sparks flying from its shattered frame. I barely slept that night, tossing and turning until the alarm finally dragged me into another day. I didn't even want to go to work. But the seer's last words gnawed at my mind, feeding my curiosity despite my anger. When I arrived at the office, everything felt heavy and subdued. The company had brought in grief counselors to help everyone process what had happened. People cried, hugged, and shared their memories of Allie. No work got done that day. James, I learned, had survived the crash, but was in a coma. The doctors weren't sure if he'd recover. Late in the afternoon, Diego Salbra, the head of our division, approached me. Diego was known for being blunt and straightforward, and this conversation was no exception. Jack, he began, his voice low but firm, I need to talk to you about something important. I nodded, unsure of what to expect. Look, with James out, we need someone to take over his position. The Lancaster project can't stop, it's too important. I've been watching you, and I think you're the right person for the job. This will be a temporary promotion for now, but once enough time has passed, we'll make it permanent. I trust you can handle it. I was stunned. Of course, I stammered, still reeling. I can do it. Thank you for the opportunity. Good, Diego said with a curt nod. Let's keep this low-key for now. And Jack, don't let me down. On the way home, my emotions were a mess. Shock, guilt, confusion, and a strange sense of pride swirling inside me. I didn't know how to feel about anything anymore. Before heading home, I stopped at an electronics store and bought a new monitor. Once I got back, I set it up and powered on the computer, knowing what was waiting for me. As soon as the screen came to life, the text appeared. Jack, I want to be the first to congratulate you. I'm proud of what you've accomplished. I clenched my fists as I read, my anger simmering just below the surface. Jack, I owe you an introduction. I'm called the Seer. Like I told you before, I see what will be and what can be. It's a very powerful gift. But you know what, Jack? For all my power, I can't do anything corporeal. I can predict, I can see, and with enough effort, I can communicate. But I don't have a body. That was taken from me a long, long time ago. That's why I need you, Jack. I'm an artist of sorts, an artist of human manipulation. You'll be my paintbrush and my canvas. Together we can create beautiful things. It's simple. You'll perform small tasks for me from time to time. My mind was racing, but curiosity kept me glued to the screen. And Jack, before you decide, I want you to know 2 things. First, I'll never lie to you. And second, I'll never ask you to do anything that's technically wrong or illegal. Yes, bad things will happen and people will die. But everyone dies eventually, Jack. Why not let something good come of it? The bad will always be balanced by something good happening to you. That's the beauty of my art. One single task produces something bad and something good. It's a perfect balance. I winced at those words, but I couldn't stop reading. Oh, and Jack, I know you're struggling with this right now. If I stopped talking to you, it would take you about 2 weeks to decide to join me. But you would join me, Jack. That's right, I already know you're going to say yes, so why wait? Let's get started. When this is all over, you'll thank me. I promise. I sat there, staring at the screen. My initial disgust and anger were fading, replaced by something else, something dark and unsettling. Finally, I placed my hands on the keyboard and typed my first response to the seer. What do you want me to do next? Over the years, I did every favor the seer asked of me. Just as promised, I was rewarded every time. The rewards came in ways I could never predict, always surprising me. One of the more memorable moments happened about 2 years after I first agreed to work with the seer. Jack, the seer's message appeared on my computer one evening. I need you to go downtown tomorrow. Enter Garmin's Liquor at exactly 12:37 p.m. A man will ask you a question. The answer you're to give him is 27. The instructions were as straightforward as always. There were no explanations, no context, just an odd task for me to complete. By now, I'd learned not to overthink it. The next day, I arrived at Garmin's Liquor at precisely 12:37 p.m. Inside, a burly construction worker stood at the counter, scratching his head as he filled out a lottery playslip. "Let's see here," he muttered. "My birthday, that's the 15th. My wife's birthday, that's the 24th, and my kids' ages, 2, 10, and 13. He looked around the store, clearly stuck on the last number. His eyes landed on me. "Hey, buddy," he called out, waving me over. "I need another number. You got one for me?" I forced a smile and said, 27. "Really? I was thinking 35. But you know what? I like your face. Let's go with 27. He grinned, finished filling out his ticket, and paid for it. As he left, he slapped me on the shoulder and said, "Thanks, pal. See you around." I tried not to think about it. The seer had warned me not to dwell on how these tasks would play out. "You'll never guess how things end up, Jack," he'd told me once. "So, just let yourself be surprised." Still, I couldn't help but wonder, surely I hadn't helped the man win. That would be too simple. And losing wouldn't be the kind of twist the seer usually worked with either. 2 weeks later, I ran into him again, this time at the grocery store. "Hey, buddy, it's you! I remember you," he said, walking right up to me with a big, goofy smile. "Check it out, I won!" He looked like $1,000,000, literally. He was wearing new clothes, a flashy gold watch, and an even bigger smile. "I didn't think I'd see you again, but I'm glad I did. I could have never won without you. Hey, let me buy your groceries." "No, wait, that's not good enough for you. You're my good luck charm. Always got to treat people right. That's what my mom says." Before I could argue, he pulled out a checkbook and wrote me a check for $10,000. It's the least I can do for my good luck charm. I did as I was told, thinking nothing of it. 2 months later, I met Donna, the woman who would become my wife. When I asked the seer if the two events were connected, his explanation was dizzying. "Jack, when you parked in that space, you caused the person who would have parked there to choose another spot." She bumped the car next to her. The scratch was minor, but she called her insurance agent, which delayed him. He missed his train home, and while waiting for the late train, he was mugged and stabbed. He'll never fully recover. The muggers took his credit cards and used them, setting off a chain of events involving 23 other people. Ultimately, this sequence of events ensured that Donna was in the exact right place for you to meet her. The seer was always cryptic, but over the years, he revealed bits and pieces of his history. From what I gathered, he was thousands of years old. When he was alive, he'd been a powerful fortune teller and artist, foretelling events through paintings. But a foolish king, angry over a misinterpreted prophecy, had him executed. After his death, the seer's abilities expanded exponentially. Unbound by physical senses, he learned to see all possibilities, the ones that happened and the ones that didn't. And eventually, he learned to communicate with the living. For 12 years, the seer guided me. Thanks to him, I had a beautiful house, a great job, and a loving wife. I was happy, something I'd never truly been before he contacted me. One day, while I sat in my home office, the seer reached out again. "Hi, Jack. I have a favor to ask of you. This one's the easiest yet. You don't even have to get up. Call Riago's Pizza in exactly 2 minutes. Let the phone ring 3 times, then hang up." I smiled. It didn't get much simpler than that. By now, I'd learned to trust the seer and stopped questioning the tasks. 2 minutes later, I made the call. 30 minutes later, the doorbell rang. That's odd, I thought. Donna and I weren't expecting anyone. Looking through the peephole, I saw a pizza delivery boy wearing a Riago's Pizza cap. When I opened the door, he thrust a pizza box into my hands. "Here's your pizza," he said flatly. "I didn't order this," I replied. Look, I don't care if you ordered it or not. Mr. Riago told me to bring it here, so here it is," he snapped, spitting into the bushes. The delivery boy was massive, probably 6 feet 6 inches and built like a linebacker. "It's already paid for by credit card," he continued. "Just take it, and you owe me a tip." I don't have any cash," I stammered, caught off guard. The boy glared down at me, his impatience palpable. "Whatever," the delivery boy muttered, disgusted. He cast one last look over his shoulder as he walked slowly to his car, his towering frame a shadow against the dim porch light. I closed the door, locking it out of habit, and carried the pizza into the living room, where Donna was curled up on the couch watching TV. After I explained what happened, she laughed. "Well, lucky us," she said, opening the box. "This has all your favorite toppings, too." She giggled as she grabbed a slice. "I'll be right back," I told her, promising to join her shortly. I climbed the stairs to my office, my curiosity burning. Sitting down at my desk, I powered on the computer. The familiar black screen and red text appeared instantly. "Confused, Jack? Don't be," the seer began. "Your neighbor down the road ordered the pizza." Mr. Riago told the boy the correct address, but a ringing phone garbled his words. Give the boy credit, though. He got the street right, at least. "So, my reward is a pizza?" I typed, my fingers hesitating. "Yes, Jack. Your reward is a pizza and some time with your wife. Go downstairs, share the meal, and enjoy it. When you're done, make love to Donna. That's not a task. It's just advice. Oh, by the way, your neighbors who ordered the pizza are arguing right now over its absence. Their fight is going to get heated, but you don't need to worry about that. Enjoy your night." I followed the seer's advice, returning to the living room to cuddle with Donna. We laughed and talked as we finished the pizza. Later, we made love on the couch, and she fell asleep in my arms, her peaceful breathing lulling the room into silence. But I couldn't sleep. Something about this task felt off. Carefully, I slid my arm out from under Donna and made my way back upstairs to my office. Sitting down at the computer, I typed, "Are you there?" The response was immediate. "Yes, Jack. I'm always here. I've been waiting for you to come back. That pizza delivery boy. He's quite a specimen, isn't he?" The words made me uneasy. "What do you mean?" I typed back. "He's a horrible employee," the seer continued. "Hired only 3 days ago, and Mr. Riago already wants to fire him. But as a physical specimen, he's remarkable. Strong, fast, and very observant. For instance, he noticed that you didn't lock the front door after he delivered the pizza." "What?" I muttered, half rising from my chair. "Sit down, Jack," the seer's voice commanded, for the first time directly in my head. It was soft, feminine, and strangely soothing. "Locking the door now won't change your situation." Heart pounding, I slowly sank back into my seat, glancing over my shoulder toward the hallway. "You see, Jack, it's true I never lied to you. Everything I've ever told you is completely honest. But I have withheld certain details. I told you that each task causes something bad to happen to someone else and something good to happen to you. But there's also a third outcome. Each task serves an ultimate purpose, a goal I've been working toward. Remember Allie? Of course you do. But what you probably don't remember is that she was helping her brother pay for college. When she died, he had to drop out. He would have been a great psychologist, one who could have helped our pizza boy years ago. Instead, the boy ended up with a Freudian quack. And remember our lottery winner? Yes, you do. After losing his fortune, he beat that boy senseless for jumping in front of his car. The boy's mother couldn't protect him. She was strung out on drugs provided by her boyfriend, one of the muggers who robbed that insurance agent. Do you see the scope of my artistry now? I stared at the screen, my breath shallow. I wanted to check on Donna, but I was too afraid to move. Jack, you've completed over 100 tasks for me, and each one has brought us closer to this moment. Together, we have psychologically destroyed this boy, turned him into a monster, and brought him here tonight. This is our masterpiece of human manipulation. Right now, the boy is downstairs. He's slitting Donna's throat as we speak. My blood ran cold. Then I heard it, a short, muffled scream from the living room, followed by a sickening gurgling sound. "No!" I screamed, bolting from my chair and running for the stairs. "Jack, stop!" The seer's voice rang out in my head again, calm and deliberate. "You can't do anything. She's already gone. He'll be coming for you shortly, and you can't stop him." "But why?" I cried, tears streaming down my face. "It's not an artistic masterpiece unless it begins and ends with you, Jack. I want you to appreciate how special this moment is. Speaking to you directly requires all my energy. After tonight, I'll need to rest for years before I can reach anyone again. That's how important you are to me. Don't feel bad, Jack. I gave you 12 extraordinary years, years filled with happiness and meaning. Without me, you would have lived 85 bitter, boring years and died alone. Nobody would have come to your funeral. Together, we created something beautiful, something unique. This is the culmination of our work, Jack." I stared at the screen, my tears falling freely now. Behind me, I heard the heavy, deliberate footsteps of the boy entering the room. On the screen, the seer's final message appeared. "Don't you have something to say to me, Jack?" The hulking figure loomed behind me, a bloody knife in his hand. My chest heaved as I absorbed everything the seer had just told me. Tears still streaming, I mouthed my final words, "Thank you.